Hello, everybody. I'm Skip Elsheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime streaming show, where we watch old 16mm films and we think about when they were made and why they were made. That one is Irrigation, and it was a teaching film that was made in the 30s, and it was part of the Mogul Brothers film library, which is something that you could rent or you could purchase from. And surprisingly, this happens a lot. This addresses issues that are very important nowadays regarding water and getting water from point A to point B, and where's that water coming from, all of that stuff. So I love watching films like this that are nearly 100 years old that basically say, like, yeah, guess what? We have the same problems we had before. So let's jump right into watching some more films. This is Animals That Fly. Enjoy.
When we look at a fly's wing, we can see through the clear membrane. The tiny veins in a fly's wing help to strengthen it. A few insects, like butterflies and moths, have wings that are large in relation to the size of their bodies. The wings of these insects have an extra outside covering over the clear membrane of the wing. If we look at a butterfly's wing through a microscope, we can see that this covering is made of many tiny scales. The scales overlap each other like shingles on a roof. Most of the flying insects have two pairs of wings. On a dragonfly, the two pairs of wings are arranged one in front of the other. On moths and butterflies, the two pairs of wings overlap each other. And on beetles, like this ladybird, one pair of wings is hard. The hard pair is on top and protects the bottom pair of wings. Here is a diagram that will show how an insect flies. When an insect makes its body flatter, the wings move up. When the insect makes its body narrower again, the wings move down. Muscles change the shape of an insect's body, much as muscles change the shape of your body when you breathe in and out. Many flying insects, like bees, move their wings very fast and are able to maneuver quickly. These insects move their wings so fast, they make a sound we can hear. But we cannot hear most moths or butterflies move their wings. Insects with large wings usually move their wings slowly and travel from place to place in a leisurely manner. So, the largest group of animals that fly is the flying insects. Flying insects have thin wings, which they move by changing the shape of their bodies. And most flying insects have two pairs of wings to enable them to move through the air. The next largest group of animals that fly is the birds. All flying birds have strong wings made of bone and muscle. Each wing is covered. The overlapping feathers grow from the bird's If we look at a feather closely, we can see that it is made of many little parts which cling to each other. The parts of a feather are like the parts of a zipper. When they are separated, we can see how they hook together. When a bird's feathers become separated, the bird hooks them together again with its bill. This is called preening. A bird cannot fly well unless the parts of its feathers are hooked together properly. In this diagram, we will see how birds move their wings. A bird moves its wings with powerful muscles that are attached directly to the bones. One set of muscles moves the wings down. Other muscles move the wings up. A bird's wing is much like your arm, and a bird moves its wings in much the same way you move your arms. Most birds, like these jays, have short, stubby wings. They move their wings quickly as they dart and dodge and hop about looking for food. Birds with longer wings, like these gannets, can hover and glide on updrafts of air. Gannets often use their long, slender wings to carry them to great heights, from which they dive into the sea for food. Large, broad wings, like those of this hawk, enable some birds to circle gracefully for hours without moving their wings at all. So, the second largest group of animals that fly is the birds. Flying birds have strong wings, which they move with powerful muscles. Each bird wing is covered with many overlapping feathers. The third and last group of animals that fly is the bats. A bat is a small, furry animal. Most bats live in caves where they sleep during the daytime. A bat's wing is similar to your hand. The bones and muscles are covered with skin. The long bones of the wing are like the 4 long fingers of a hand. The small thumb is very short. Muscles attached to the long finger bone move the bat's wings up and down when it flies. In some places, thousands of bats may be seen leaving their caves in the evening. Bats eat insects and are an aid to man. So all the animals that fly have wings they move up and down. The flying insects have wings of thin membrane, which they move by changing the shape of their bodies. The flying birds have strong wings covered with feathers. They move their wings with powerful muscles, much as you move your arms. The bats have wings covered with skin, which they move with your hands. Of all the animals on Earth, only insects, birds, and bats are able to fly on moving wings.
Well, this is annoying because I don't know, since there's no head to the film and there's no tail to the film, I don't really know who made this film. I guess I can do some research, but I don't think it's Coronet or Encyclopedia Britannica. I could be wrong, but I got to do some more research and find that out. In the meantime, let's learn about some seeds. Enjoy.
Nearly all of the plants that you see around you grow from seeds. Plants as different as a water lily, a pine tree, and a grass plant all have seeds. Seeds have many different sizes, shapes, and colors. Here are 20 different kinds. These are vegetable seeds. It is fun to know plants by their seeds. Now, let's see where seeds come from. If you watch a flower, such as this one of a melon plant, you will see that during the summer, a fruit grows from it. We call this fruit a melon. Let's pick the melon fruit and cut it open to see what is inside. See how many seeds there are. You can separate the seeds from the fruit and then count them. How many seeds do you think there are? In just this one melon, there were 421 seeds. And if each seed grew into a new plant, we should have a whole garden of melons. The seeds of most plants, including corn, are ripe in late summer or autumn. But many kinds of seeds will not grow until the next spring. They must dry out and wait for a few weeks or months before starting to grow. If seeds started to grow in the fall, they might be killed by winter's cold. When spring comes and the soil is warm and moist, the seeds are ready to grow. As we have seen, seeds are very different in size, shape, and color. They don't look anything like the pictures of the plants on the packets. Although seeds look very different from each other, they all need the same things to grow. The first thing growing seeds must have is water. If you plant them outdoors in dry soil, they won't grow until it rains. By speeding up our moving pictures, we can see these bean seeds swelling. This takes about 1 day. Do not leave them underwater too long. They need air and you may drown them. If we open one of the swelled seeds, it separates easily into 2 parts called seed leaves. Between the seed leaves is a tiny new plant with leaves and stem already formed. The 2 large seed leaves contain food. This food helps the little plant to get started. Now, let's put some moist peat moss in a drinking glass, and then some swelled beans. The moss will keep the beans moist and also let them have air. With the pictures speeded up, we can see the bean plants growing. Watch the bean plants each day and see how fast they grow. Don't forget to give them water. And as soon as the plants are above ground, they need light. Not every seed will grow. You may want to know how many plants you will get from a package of seeds. You can count out 20 of these radish seeds and put them on a piece of wet blotting paper in a covered dish. By speeding up the action, we can see the growth of several days in a few seconds. You can watch the tiny radish plants as they break through the tough seed coats made soft by water. Now you can see that only 1 of the 20 seeds did not grow, and you can figure out how many plants you will get from a packet of radish seeds, if they all grew as well as your sample did. How fast do you think plants grow from seeds? One of the fastest is the sunflower. Let's plant some sunflower seeds and see how fast the plants grow. Here are the little plants 3 weeks after sowing the seeds. They are too close together to grow well, so we'll pull up some of them. Now, at 6 weeks from planting, the sunflower plants are still too close together, so we'll cut off one more of them. The sunflower plants are now 4 months old and about 10 feet high. They are big plants to have grown in such a short time from seeds. To get this big, sunflowers need plenty of light, water, and fertilizer. You will find that a sunflower head, when ripe, has more than 1,000 seeds. Because plants make so many seeds filled with food, seeds are very important to man. These sunflower seeds are good food, but it takes some time to crack enough of them to eat. The seeds of some plants are very important for food. In the United States and Europe, wheat is the most important seed or grain that people use for food. But in China, Japan, and many other parts of Asia, millions of people eat rice. Rice is the seed of the rice plant. Rice seed is about all that many of these people have to eat. When we plant a garden in spring, the soil looks bare. There are no green plants at all. 1 month later, the garden plants have come up, but so have other plants that we don't want. Between the rows of garden plants are weeds. How did they get there? Let's watch an older dandelion plant for several weeks, and with the pictures speeded up, see the dandelion flower changing into a head of seeds. The secret of how the seeds form is hidden in the closed flower of the dandelion. Now the closed head is opening, and we can see that each seed has a parachute. If you pick a dandelion and blow on it, away go the seeds. Now you can see how the dandelion plants get into your garden. Another plant that travels by the wind is the maple tree. These maple fruits can blow some distance away from the parent tree, but they are much heavier than dandelion seeds and usually fall near the tree that bore them. Let's have our motion picture camera watch some of them as they begin to grow. The wings are often raised straight up, like little flags. See if you can find a lawn with little maple trees like these. Fleshy fruits or seeds may travel a long way inside birds. After this robin has bathed, look in the bird bath. Here are some cherry pits left behind by the robin. Here is a cherry seed the robin dropped on the ground. Next spring, it may grow into a young cherry tree. Many of our common weeds have ways of hitchhiking on you or your pets and other animals. If you will drag a woolly cloth through a patch of weeds, you can collect some of the weed seeds. You can see them best with a magnifying glass. With a stronger lens, we can see the spines or hooks that get caught in your clothing or the fur of animals. In this way, seeds can travel a long way. When you pick burdocks from your sweater, you may be planting burdock seeds in your yard where you don't want them. Seeds of trees and wildflower and weed seeds are just about everywhere. Here is an experiment you can do. Fill a pan or box with some soil from your garden. Take the box indoors and put it in front of a window. Keep the soil moist by watering and watch to see what happens. With the picture speeded up, you can see little plants beginning to grow. Where did the seeds come from? Some of the seeds came from the weeds that grew in your garden last year, such as this one that dropped its seeds when the wind shook it. Some fly in from nearby trees. Collect some winged maple keys. Throw a handful of them into the air. Watch them spin like tiny helicopters. The seeds of milkweed and many other kinds of plants are carried a long way by the wind. Other seeds are carried in on the fur of animals or on people's clothes. And some are dropped by birds. All around you are plants growing from seeds. Plant some seeds yourself and watch them grow. And look around your neighborhood to see others growing. You will find seeds interesting and very important.
Yeah, it looks like I'm intending to show you a lot of science and nature films today. I think that's what I had set up. But behind me, I have a film set up on the scanner. And this doesn't have much to do with nature, I don't think. We'll see. I haven't seen this film, and that's the joy of doing what we do, is to be able to show you stuff that we haven't seen. So this is Silkscreen. Let me change the title. Enjoy.
A silk screen is a wooden frame with fine silk stretched over it. Sometimes the frame is hinged to a board. A design is made by blocking out parts of the silk. The design is printed by forcing paint through the open part of the silk with a heavy rubber blade called a squeegee. The simplest method of making a silkscreen stencil is to cut it from paper. The cut stencil is taped to the back of the screen. Silkscreen paint is spread across one end of the frame. The squeegee must be drawn across the silk with a firm, even pressure. Printing may be done on cloth as well as on paper. When printing is finished, or when a new color is to be used, it is important to clean the screen and the squeegee thoroughly. By cutting a paper mask, it is possible to control the size of the printing surface. Masking tape applied to the silk completes this design. Paper stickers provide another means of blocking the silk. Almost any kind of cut or perforated paper can be used for making designs. A stencil can be made in the silk by drawing on it with crayon. When it is applied heavily, it closes up the silk so that the paint cannot get through, and the uncrayoned portions of the silk make the printed design. This design is to be printed with a film stencil. The film is a thin sheet of lacquer fastened to a paper backing. The stencil is made by cutting away parts of the film. It is important to cut through only the top layer of film, leaving the paper backing intact. The film is fastened to the silk with a special adhering liquid. A small section is moistened with the liquid and then rubbed firmly with a dry cloth. When all the film is adhered, the paper backing is carefully removed.
edges of the screen may be blocked out with masking tape or paper. For two color prints, a master design may first be made of cut paper. A separate stencil must be made for each color. Small pieces of cardboard, called register strips, are taped to one corner of the board. These provide a guide for placing the stencils and the paper to be printed. Each sheet of paper must be exactly placed. When printing of the first color is completed, the stencil for the second color is registered and taped to the screen. Silkscreen is a useful and versatile method of making multiple prints. The design ideas must come from you. Silkscreen gives you a way to share your ideas with others.
let's say, somebody else gets hit, their archive gets hit by flood, tomorrow, there are resources out there, but what we
For centuries after the dawn of civilization, man regarded our Earth as the center of the universe. Increased knowledge has led us to realize that the Earth is only one of several similar bodies that are all dominated by the sun. With clock-like regularity, the Earth, along with the other planets, revolves about the sun. Although we have become accustomed to having things come and go, nevertheless, we somehow cling to the notion that there's no beginning and will have no end. The sun was without planets, and as it traveled through space, it came. As the two stars approached each other, their mutual gravitation curved their paths, increased their speed, and produced tidal bulges on their surfaces. Matter was ejected from our sun and given an angular motion by the other star as it passed onwards. The ejected material circulated about the sun. In time, larger pieces swept up smaller particles and grew in size to form the planets. Held by the gravity of the sun, they move in nearly circular paths. Here are the four largest planets: Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, and Jupiter. Jupiter, the fastest moving of these four planets, makes a revolution around the sun in about 12 years. As we move closer, the terrestrial planets come into view. We now see Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, the Earth, Venus, and Mercury. All these planets can be seen by the unaided eye. Note that the greater the distance of a planet from the sun, the longer is the period of revolution. During this scene, you are watching the motion of these planets from the year 1935 to 1950. Here is a closer view of the Earth, Venus, and Mercury. Let us disregard Mercury and determine the motion of Venus in relation to the Earth. The arrows represent the lines of vision from the Earth to the Sun and from the Earth to Venus. Since Venus moves inside the Earth's orbit, the two lines of vision always form an acute angle, and from the Earth, Venus appears to move back and forth in relation to the Sun. On successive evenings, we watch the motion of Venus in the western sky. For 9½ months, it is an evening star. We follow its motion below the horizon, though Venus would now be visible as a morning star in the eastern sky. Through a telescope, Venus exhibits all the phases of the moon. The bright portion indicates the part illuminated by the sun, while the rest of the planet is on the dark side or away from the sun. The exterior planets present quite a different view. Mars, the outside planet, is best observed at this opposition. 2 years later, we will have another good opposition. At the next two oppositions, the Earth and Mars will be further apart. The apparent motion of Mars, as seen from the Earth, is the result of two motions, Mars and the Earth's. Note how the arrow joining the Earth to Mars changes direction before and after opposition. Nightly, Mars moves among the stars, periodically becoming stationary, and then slowly reversing. At opposition, Mars appears to travel fastest westward. Passing opposition, it slows down, again is stationary, and then slowly resumes its original eastward motion. Through a telescope, Mars is seen to rotate once in 24½ hours. It has seasons like the Earth, but they are twice as long as ours. The white polar cap is low-lying mist and frost formed during winter. This disappears during spring. The dark bands then become more intense, suggesting growth of vegetation. Beyond Mars is the largest planet, Jupiter. Galileo, with his crude telescope, discovered 4 moons about the size of our own moon, revolving about Jupiter. As they revolve, crossing in front and passing behind the disk, disappearing into Jupiter's shadow to reappear again, they constitute a celestial clock. 5 additional moons were discovered around the beginning of the 20th century. Further out is Saturn, the most remote planet known in ancient times. Saturn also has a large family of moons. But more spectacular are the disk-like rings that surround Saturn's equator. As the position of the planet changes in its orbit, we see these rings edgewise every 15 years. We have now observed Saturn as it looks from the Earth during its 30-year period of revolution about the Sun. During the last century, hundreds of smaller bodies, planetoids, have been discovered revolving about the Sun in the region between Mars and Jupiter. Of particular importance in measuring the scale of the solar system are the planetoids that come within the orbit of Mars. Here is one that remains beyond the orbit of the Earth. It is an object but a few miles in diameter and visible only through a telescope. Another recently discovered planetoid actually loops Earth and Venus. Even at its closest approach to the Earth, it is still much further away than our moon. The orbits of the planetoids are usually more elongated than those of planets. Of all the members of the solar family, the awesome comets seem the most unruly. Halley's Comet passes inside the orbit of Mercury as it swings past the Sun. Then it moves out beyond Neptune, completing its orbit in 75 years. Halley's Comet last visited the Sun in 1910. Note that the tail of the comet is repelled by the Sun. In May of that year, this tail, composed of tiny particles, actually swept the Earth without noticeable effect. There are other comets that travel further out than the orbit of Neptune. We naturally wonder if there are other and more distant planets. In 1930, Pluto was discovered. This planet is rather small in comparison to its neighbor, Neptune. While the planets, planetoids, and comets are moving about the Sun, the entire system itself is moving in space among the stars in the direction of the constellation Hercules. One may ask many questions. Are there other solar systems like our own, somewhere far out in space? May there be planets similar to our Earth, with life such as we know abounding upon them? And finally, what will be the ultimate fate of this Earth upon which we live? And what will eventually become of the entire solar family?
but thank you.
So I am on a conference call with Apple Shop about helping do a videotape and audio tape cleaning party in the fall. So I apologize for bouncing back and forth and just throwing things your way. So I should say, let's see, one last time that tomorrow is the deadline for the left bracket of the toe tapping tournament. I've gotten some amazing votes from you. There is 2 films that are neck and neck. And it is amazing to see how close they are. And so this is your opportunity to chime in. This is important because, here I am typing. Oh, yeah, okay, I can't find it. Anyways, this is important because we are trying to come up with some strong film jingles to compete against Found Footage Festival, so that we can, one, maintain the clown Thanksgiving painting that we have behind us, the club painting we have behind us, the fact that they are going to serve us Thanksgiving dinner this summer, dressed as clowns, and whatever other embarrassing thing that we are going to spring on them. And so your voice in this is super important. So again, I'm going to play kind of an abbreviated version of the left bracket stuff. And if you have not voted yet, please vote today. Tomorrow is the deadline. We'll tally it up. We'll give answers. Then we will talk about the right bracket. And so I apologize if you've seen this and you're like, all right, already, I'm sick of this. But it is very important. This is your opportunity to help us defeat those video collectors out there. You guys are great. I love and respect what you say. You've written some very nice notes in the emails to us. So here we go. Enjoy. Thanks for watching and participating in the Toe Tapping Tournament 2023. We have 8 songs for you to look at, and they're competing against each other. So Fast Food is competing against Think Metric. Use Your Eyes is competing against People Working with Data. Safety as We Play is competing with Zip Code Song. Good Eating is competing with Magnificent Major. So we'll play all the songs in a row, and then you can vote. You have until April 19th, 2023 to vote on this bracket, and then we'll reveal the next bracket. All right, so we're going to start off with the fast food song.
Now the story here is about a gal who looked great, but she got it in her head that she ought to lose weight. Then she felt guilty about the stuff she ate. Bad diet. You name it, she'd try it.
What's going on here? What's on your mind? We're measuring everything we can find. We'll weigh with the scale, it's fun to do, and we'll count in grams, maybe kilograms too. Hey, look up, look down, look all around you. Tell me what you see. There's so much to be discovered if you'll look carefully.
Now I can be the kind of people who prefers to work with people, helping you or serving in some way. I prefer to guide and teach you, serve your needs. I'm there to meet you, reaching out to touch you every day.
And I'm the one who likes to sing whenever I'm at work with things. Using things is what I like to do. I work with things of different size, with different uses I've devised. To work with things is what I love to do.
And I feel that there's nothing greater than to work with facts and data. Information is the stuff I use. Investigators gather clues and commentators give the news. Data is the kind of work I choose.
So come along with me and see which of me you'd like to be. People, things, data too. We're all different sides of you know who. We all fit together to make up you.
We're going to practice safety as we play. We're going to practice safety as we play. As we walk and ride and play.
You've heard what we've said. Keep it all in your head. There's no better way. You zip code every day. You know you gotta have a zip code on the envelope. A zip code so you won't just have to hope. A zip code morning, noon, and night, and everything will be alright.
Well, you get faster service and a lower cost. Fewer mistakes, no time ever lost. A lot less handling along the way.
No damage for you to pay.
You know you gotta have a zip code. Yeah, you're on the envelope. A zip code, yeah, oh, you wanna pack a home. A zip code, yeah, the morning will go down, and everything will be alright.
I'm bored, I'm wasting time. What am I doing here? Why do I have to learn all this? It's not very clear. What good is it to me? Oh, what good is it to me? They tell me school's the place to learn what I need to know, but I'm just sitting here while I am waiting to grow. What good is it to me? Oh, what good is it to me? Reading and writing and arithmetic makes me sick. Chemistry, history, it's all a mystery. I don't need no education. I don't need no aggravation. I don't need everything I have to know. I can learn from a TV show.
Vegetables, and I'm like meat with food groups, food groups. You gotta have some of us every day. We're food groups, food groups. You gotta have some of us every day.
I'm in the dairy group, as you see. You gotta eat some of my friends and me. Buttermilk and yogurt too. Cream and cheese, either yellow or blue.
We're food groups, food groups. You gotta have some of us every day. We're food groups, food groups. You gotta have some of us every day. I'm in the meat group. We've got protein. There's protein in meat and protein in beans. Chicken and fish and nuts and ham. As good as meat, that's what I am. We're food groups, food groups. You gotta have some of us every day. We're food groups, food groups. You gotta have some of us every day.
So that's the left bracket. You don't need to hear a pre-recorded me when I'm here live. Yes, so those songs have done so much psychic damage to my head. There are holes drilled in it with all of those songs. I am waking up to them. I am showering with those songs bouncing around in my head. I'm singing along. So I know there are some catchy songs in there, but even the ones that haven't gotten any votes, boy, they're just getting stuck in there. So I know that the criteria that we've used to make these candidates is sound. And so tomorrow, we will announce the winners of the left bracket, and then we'll announce the right bracket, and I'll show you those, and show you some other stuff too. As always, very much appreciate you guys tuning in. I like your comments very much. It gives me a chuckle, makes me think. And I should say that we're beginning to announce some travel dates of doing some live in-person shows, not in Raleigh, North Carolina. We're doing a show in Portland, Oregon on the 2nd of May. And this is in conjunction with celebrating the loss of a film collector, Dennis Nyback. Then we're going to go down to San Francisco, and we're going to do a show at the Exploratorium, or show a film at Exploratorium, and then we're going to do a screening at the Alamo Mission in San Francisco. Then we're going to make our way eventually to LA, and we're going to do a screening at the Alamo there. So if you're in those places, I would love to see you and say hi. If you're in Raleigh on Thursday, the Found Footage Festival will actually be here, and we will try to not get into a fight. Actually, I like those guys a lot. They crack me up, and I enjoy this competition and competing with them. But they're going to be here. They're going to be showing their film Chop and Steal, which is a documentary about how their goofiness got them into serious legal trouble. And that is a wonderful, hilarious cautionary tale about some people who collect media, goof on it, and then how they really got in trouble. So I totally recommend seeing that. I've seen it twice, and it's real good. So anyways, everybody take care. We will talk soon. As always, you can hit the thumbs up, the like button. You can also donate via the Super Thanks button, or go to patreon.com/avgeeks. That money will go to buy us some dish racks, which that's what I'm going to do after this. I'm going to go to Target. I'm going to buy some dish racks and a fan, and I'll tell you more about that later this week, because it is film related, believe it or not. You can also go, just comment, watch other films in our collection that are on YouTube. Those have advertising, and we make money off of that. So thank you again for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be exciting. All right, take care.